finger looking good.
Friends don't lie. Yeah, well, boyfriends lie. All the time.
What are you doing?
Peeing?
How many times, Dad? I don't do drugs.
You can't spill America without Erica.
Am I dreaming or is that you, Harrington?
Yeah, it's me. Don't cream your pants.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Welcome to Just a Piece of Stranger Things. Today we are dissecting Season 1, Chapter 3, Holly Jolly. Thank you for sharing a piece of your time, a piece of your day, as we bring you a piece of a little show called Stranger Things. My name is Chris. I am joined by Sterling. Sterling, what'd you think of the episode?
Little Holly Jolly Christmas.
That's a good point to start.
Really fun. A lot happens, and I didn't think, and we'll get into it obviously, that this was the episode that we learn, the kids learn, Hopper learns that Will is dead.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was this soon, but big reveal, good reveal, big nail-biting finish to make you want to turn on episode 4. But like we have been, Chris, we have turned the TV off and said we'll table it for the next week.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting when these episodes or these seasons are just 8 episodes long, so they have to get to the point quicker, things have to progress quicker, but even in the back of your mind, you don't think of this episode as episode 3. I thought this happened in episode 4 or 5, the finding of Will's body, also the Christmas lights, the Holly Jolly that you mentioned. But yeah, we are progressing quickly in this season for sure.
Which I mean, it makes sense. It's fun, but also to more your point of it being like 8 episodes, you got to get there quickly. Like, yeah, you can have time where like there's atmosphere building and there's story moments and everything, and there's character moments. But I didn't realize, for as action packed as the later seasons are, this show in season 1 is still like very quick to the next point. Bang, 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 bang. And the editing in this episode, I think, is probably some of the quicker cuts. Like you're just hopping back and forth to all these different characters. And it's kind of jarring after the first 2 episodes. But I think they do that in a way that, one, makes it entertaining. Obviously, the show is amazing. But 2, it almost kind of not contrasts, but you get the feel of the newer seasons with this one, because there is the action of we're continuing to go. Like it feels, what's the word I'm thinking of? It feels urgent, and you don't realize that till the end of the episode once Will's body is, his fake body is revealed.
Yeah, well, I think we're learning the town of Hawkins as well. Like we're learning, okay, we're going to be at a couple of the kids' houses, the Byers' house, the Wheeler's house. Then we'll jump to the lab. Where else do we jump? I guess the library, the police station, and the general store. Like this, it's a small town. It only consists of a few things, and we kind of jump to all those places in this episode. So that is a good point. Yeah, we're jumping around.
We also get a lot of moments with characters together, pairings that we don't normally see. Like we do get Joyce and Karen a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot some mischaracterization, but we do get a scene of them together talking. And you do get the Lucas, Dustin, Michael, 11 combo, which in later seasons, albeit they're all the kids and they're together, like you do get the mystery angle built in, because 2 of them don't really trust 11 just yet, Lucas being the main culprit of that. And Mike is like, I love 11, she's awesome. And then learn later, he's like, I hate you so much, you're the worst. It's just like, even in the small moments, it shows the characters and everything. And this is fun, man. It's a fun show to watch. My wife and I watched it again last night, and she was like, can I be on the podcast? I have so many things to say. And I said, no.
Nice. No girls allowed, huh? That's funny. That's not a bad. Nice. We'll see.
No, it's fine. A lot of the input I had is from her anyways. I bounce questions off of her because she's so smart, and it's great to have that. But I'm sure you do it too with your wife, of like, I had this question. Well, this is the answer I have. And it goes, oh, okay. So the wifey is definitely in the show, even if she isn't on the show, if that helps.
No, I like that. Good. Yeah, you can add some of her input to the episode.
And I'll give her no credit for it at all. It's all
and no credit. It's all from Sterling.
This is the 1920s all over again. It's all about the men.
Well, let's talk about. Obviously, we got our spoilers. We try to relate the episodes to the entire series as a whole. We do our pregame, which is what we're finishing up with. We're gonna head into our play-by-play, and then we'll wrap it up with a little post-game. Our favorite character, MVP of the episode, maybe a couple other things. We'll get there when we get there. But I say let's get into the episode. What do you say?
Well, my first question is, what episode is this, Chris?
Thank you, Sterling. This is season 1, chapter 3, Holly Jolly. And I wanted to start there because do you think it's Holly Jolly? Obviously, the reference to the Christmas lights and Christmas, but is it also Holly, little Holly, Karen's kid?
Yeah, I obviously Holly has that little spell with the upside down kind of in this episode. I would like to think it is a dual purposed title because you do get a little bit more Holly here and then obviously Christmas, which I think and maybe I'm forgetting, I know it's winter-ish time.
It's November 6th, 7th. I guess it's November 8th or 9th. I kind of forget where we are.
So it's like leading into Christmas.
Yeah, so the Christmas stuff is up. So like later we'll see Joyce getting more Christmas lights. So obviously we're getting closer to Christmas, so that store would be stocked up on Christmas lights, so that makes sense. So
am I wrong to say that season 1 of Stranger Things is a Christmas show?
Guess you could say that.
Okay.
Why not?
Specifically
season 5. We look at season 5. We took over the entire holiday season with season 5, with dropping on what was it? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Would you classify it in the Die Hard of like it's a Christmas movie, but it takes place around Christmas or on Christmas, but really isn't about Christmas?
That's interesting. I mean, they put the Christmas lights in this episode, so like this does have that sort of feel.
Okay. So you heard it here first, folks. Stranger Things season 1 belongs in the Die Hard category of Christmas movies and shows.
Sure, let's go with that.
Make it a staple of your Christmas watching.
Let's get going here. So the episode starts, it's like a black screen, and then boom, we're right on Barb's face. She's sputtering some nastiness out of her mouth. She's at the bottom of an empty pool, clearly in the upside down. Is this our first glimpse of the upside down? I forget.
Yeah, because we don't see it in episode 1. We just get the Demogorgon and then like a sign of the gate.
No. I guess it's our first glimpse. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to tell because all the other episodes later on, like in season 4, when they're just running around, and season 5, they're just hanging out down there. So
right.
But yeah, I guess this is our first glimpse of it with all the vines everywhere. I mean, it's super scary place. I mean, imagine being Barb and waking up in this environment. Where am I? I kind of recognize it, but what is going on? Right? I mean, crazy.
Yeah, like the last thing she sees is a flower-headed demon monster. All of a sudden.
Well, first, I think she gets up and she starts calling for Nancy because I guess you can tell she is in a pool, maybe, because she's like, Nancy, where are you, Nancy?
I think she realizes that she's at Steve's house still. Like, she realizes that, I think.
Yeah, and then she turns and there's the Demogorgon does another turn.
Okay.
He's always turning.
Because so he's in the pool. He has just taken Barb. And what is it doing on the other side? It's just like
I don't know.
For her to wake up. It's like, oh, you're here. Like you took her. Like, why are you surprised?
The Demogorgons do a lot of dragging. So he dragged her through the portal, maybe just hucked her off to the side, and then he just kind of was collecting his thoughts. I don't know.
Do the Demogorgons like have actual like brains? They're part of the hive mind. Like, can they do critical thinking of like, oh, who is this woman? They're just kind of foot soldiers or whatever. Like, they're kind of just like mindless creatures. But
I mean, before Vecna showed up, was the mind flayer telling them what to do, or were they just living amongst each other and they just roam around? I mean, it's hard to know. Who knows? But moving on. this whole scene is spliced together between Steve and Nancy up in the bedroom,
Getting
and
freaky.
yes, and Barb trying to climb out of the pool and evade the Demogorgon. She eventually makes it to the ladder of the pool and almost makes it out, but then she gets yanked back down by the Demogorgon, which is where the scene ends. And it's a very quick scene before we get to the opening crawl. I think it's one of the quickest scenes to the opening crawl. It's under a minute.
Yeah, it felt like they wanted to get right to the action of like, we built up for 2 episodes revealing Demogorgon in some capacity, and like we kind of showed you Barb is going to get taken in episode 2, but now it's like bang, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in the Upside Down, but also we don't want to show you too much. We just want to give you that kind of quick kind of shot, quick little viewing, and then bring it back into the right side up. I do have a couple notes here. I found it interesting that Nancy is kind of losing her innocence. I'm assuming she was a virgin before this. That's why it's a big deal for her and for Barb. Nancy's losing her innocence, per se, while Barb is losing her life. Thought that was pretty interesting. And then we obviously learn what happens to Barb later and kind of get a glimpse of it in this scene. But like, I think I asked you last episode, he takes Will for a purpose. For Vecna, for the Mind Flayer, right?
Yeah.
What is the point of taking Barb?
Yeah, you brought that up last episode, and I was thinking about it a little bit the last week, and I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't. Did you come up with anything?
No, because
it seems random.
Yeah, like you try to think of, okay, she has blood in the water, and maybe that attracts the Demogorgon, and like maybe it is kind of a mindless predator in a way. But it's like, oh, like I do want to kill things, I do want to hunt things, I have to eat something, right? But we learned that he didn't really eat, or the Demogorgon didn't really eat Barb. It just kind of like took her away and it killed her, obviously. But my only thought was maybe, like there really isn't a thought, because there is no purpose behind it. You never really hear from her again. The only thing you get from Barb dying is Nancy's like feeling bad about it, and that carrying into season 2.
And that's the point of it for this episode. It's what it does to Nancy's character. So that's kind of the only reason why it's there, it feels like. And we will see Barb another time. I remember we'll get another flashback of her in the Upside Down, or maybe in the In-Between, I think it is, with 11 is looking for her at one point, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe at that point we can get back to it and think about it one more time, and if we have come up with anything.
Yeah, I mean, Barb dying really isn't that important to me. I don't really care. I'm like, okay, Barb's dead.
Yeah,
cool. She was kind of a pain in the ass, if we're being honest.
She's just in Nancy.
Had the goal to kill some of the main characters.
She's in Nancy's and Steve's way, huh?
Hey, she was getting in the way of Steve getting it on.
Get
out of the way, Barb.
Well, we get to the opening crawl. We got the the usual. Oh, I don't think we got to this. We got a new director and a new writer for this one. It's not the Duffer Brothers.
It shows.
You feel that?
Oh yeah, I think that comes down to the editing, comes down to the cinematography, it comes down to, I think, a lot of the character moments too. Like the first 2 episodes are great, but you definitely feel the difference. This episode does not feel like the last 2, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it might be. I think it is the best episode so far. Would you say?
I liked it better than episode 2. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Granted, more happens here. Episode 2 is kind of the in-between episode of the bunch.
I mean, episode 1 is just the pilot. You're getting used. You're meeting all the characters, so it has a different feel for you, like emotionally.
You definitely get more of that somberness, I think. Like, Will gets taken, and there's the reaction to that, but like, there is that somber, kind of gloomy feel to this episode that I really like.
Yeah, it hits you emotionally for sure, especially at the end. But so we get the title fade through the title, which I always mention. I love it how they do that every time. And then we got Nancy waking up on Steve's bed. We got Sleepy Steve. He's not waking up. she says, "See you tomorrow." Nancy leaves, and it's still dark out. I noticed. So
Yeah.
I think it's still the middle of the night because she will end up showing up home just late. So I was thinking to myself, well, I guess was Barb actually waiting for her, and could she have driven Nancy home if the Demogorgon didn't show up?
Yeah, I mean, again, we
Right?
talked about it last episode of like, is Barb just waiting for Nancy to get done and then be like, okay, get in the car,
Yeah.
we're going home.
Yeah. She was just enjoying her night. That's what I went with last time. She's just enjoying some peace and quiet at the pool.
The heated pool with the steam.
Yeah, yeah.
I also had another question of how quickly, and this is kind of intimate, but like Steve fell asleep really quick after they were done.
I guess so. Yeah,
like,
sleepy
that
guy.
Dude said, like, bro, it hasn't been that much time.
Because the parents weren't home. Originally, I thought they were waking up at like just early in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
3 a.m.
No, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, and so I guess Nancy must walk home, right? I guess so.
Yeah. Sure.
How else did she get home? So I guess she walks home at like 10, 11, maybe midnight. So she walks home and she gets home to, we're at the Wheeler house and Karen's waiting up and she's all, we agreed on 10 o'clock. Okay. That's when I was just thinking to myself, what time is it? It's a Tuesday. Remember
I was
Tuesday
looking for
thing?
a clock in the show of like, is there a clock that has time on it in the scene? No, I didn't see one, but yeah.
And Nancy's story, when she was supposed to be at, like, there was supposed to be some function, I think, at the school for Will. For Will, like everyone's mourning Will or looking for Will. And she says, "Oh, well, we went and got something to eat after. No big deal. No big deal. No big deal." And Karen noticed she has a different sweatshirt on. Whose sweatshirt is that? Well, that's Steve's. Oh, is he your new boyfriend now? Goes, it was, and then she drops another no big deal. She goes, "It was just cold. No big deal. So everything's no big deal." And Karen,
typical high school girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Really guy too. It's not a big deal, Mom. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's no big deal. But also, she, like you said, she just lost her virginity. She's going through things. It's emotional for her. And but Karen knows something's going on. She says, "You can talk to me." Being a good mom.
Yeah.
But then it ends with just Nancy just going, "Nothing happened," and she just walks upstairs.
Karen having every mother's intuition. I don't know how your mom is like, but most moms, when they can tell something's off. Totally. And it's because they know their kid very well and because they've been there and they've done that and they know what life is like before.
Yeah.
And like I can tell with my mom, like even in the quietest moments, you know, I'll be sitting on the couch at home and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it." She's like, "You can talk to me." I'm like, "I know. I love you so much. I don't want to talk about it right now."
Nice. Yeah. She's like, "Okay, let's get into it." Yeah.
Speaking of my wife earlier, she did say in this episode, like Karen and really Joyce, but in this episode in particular, Karen is just being a good mom.
Yeah, because she cares about this episode.
She cares about Nancy, and even if it isn't like a big overarching part of her character or story, like there is a moment where like she realizes that her daughter's growing up and that things are going to change, and she still wants to have that connection with her as she ages through high school. And I think every mother and father go through that with their kids. Yeah. Like you have a kid, I'm sure when he's in high school, like it'll be that moment of like you're growing up, and that really sucks, and I don't want to lose memories of having you as a child. And you know, like that's what I felt from Karen of like, I know you're growing up and I know things are going to change quickly because it always does, but like I'm still your mom and I'm still your friend.
Yep. So then we jump to the buyer's house. Joyce is in Will's room. She has collected all the lamps in the house, it looks like.
Joyce and her lamps.
She's just surrounded by all the lamps. And then Jonathan comes in. "Jonathan, come here. Will is trying to talk to me through the lights. Trust." And then he's like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, I know. Like she has that face where she's like, "I know I'm crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but
I'm not
believe
on
me."
drugs, I swear.
Yeah. I just love the way she goes, "I know." And she like, her eyes are all like looking up like, "I know I'm not crazy, but I sound crazy." But then one of the lights blinked. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. Yeah.
So was that the electricity or was it Will? I like to think it's Will. But who knows? Their electricity's going wonky in their house anyways. And then she mentions the wall because there was a Demogorgon in the wall. And I love how we come back. The Demogorgon, I thought was pushing through the wall, but there's no trace of it. She goes back inside and we don't even touch on what happened when she went back into the house. Yeah. We're back in the house and we're just moving on with life. I thought that was just actually a good touch. Just we're moving on. The Demogorgon went away and she's just collecting lamps and just moving on.
Well, I also think it plays into her paranoia of maybe I am just seeing things until the end of this episode where it does come out. And it's okay, maybe I am crazy, but all this is happening. I really don't have confirmation. I can't explain it to you. I'm just seeing things.
Yeah, whereas no proof yet. No proof.
This episode, there is proof of something else is going on.
Yeah, but I still think at the end of this episode, the Demogorgon still goes back into the wall and there's no trace of that wall breaking or anything still. You'll see at the next episode. I remember that. In the next episode, there's still no trace. Where I think in season 5, when Demogorgons are opening up walls, they leave a trace, a little slit on the wall.
I guess it does close back up eventually.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening in season 1.
No. They hadn't thought that far.
No, not yet. Not yet. But then Jonathan's just sitting there. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say about Jonathan, did you realize that when the scene ends, he goes, Mom, I'll make breakfast.
Oh yeah, I got that.
I was dude, he's made or offered breakfast to someone in
every episode
so far.
We gotta keep track of the breakfast. Is he making breakfast in episode 4? We gotta keep track.
Yes.
But Jonathan is just sitting there and he's not believing. He's like, "Come on, Mom! First the lights, then you're talking about a wall." I mean, he just doesn't believe her, and he's like, "You gotta reel it in."
She sounds insane.
She does. And then, like you said, he's gonna go make more brekkie.
What do you think he makes for breakfast? Do you think that he makes the same thing every morning and is just here, it's bread, eggs, and bacon, or bread, eggs, and sausage, or whatever?
I haven't fully paid attention, but it has just looked like eggs and toast every time, hasn't it?
Dude, he needs he needs to incorporate more of the breakfast foods in his
What do you want? What's he working with here?
Costco, you can get some sausage links, some bacon, some hash browns. You can put in the air fryer in 1983. It didn't exist then, but you get my point. Incorporate more into your game, Jonathan.
Joyce is only going to the store for Christmas lights and camels.
Hey,
she's not buying breakfast stuff.
She had a 2-week advance. She had plenty of money.
and she spent it all on Christmas lights.
There is a scene later where I'm like, wait a minute. We'll get to it. That'll be a tease. But when Joyce goes back to the department store, I'm like, there's no way this is happening. But continue.
The next scene is the Wheeler's basement. 11's on the couch playing with the radio, and Mike's talking about Operation Mirkwood. I love how we maintained Mirkwood way longer than I thought we would in this season, which I'm liking. I like just saying we're at I like having a word to use for Mirkwood. We're at Mirkwood. It's just that's where they're hiking through. Mm-hmm. I love how they're showing all the stuff that they have for Operation Mirkwood. Lucas has binoculars from Nam, a knife from Nam. I love how he says they're from Nam. It's so good. He's got a hammer. He's got the infamous wrist rocket. He's gonna blind the Demogorgon.
Yes.
If the Demogorgon's real, he's gonna blind the Demogorgon. I think he says that. He goes, if it's real, they don't believe it yet.
Right.
Dustin, he's got the snacks for energy. I love his snacks. Oh, I love his snacks. Did you see all the snacks? He's got Pez and Smarties for starters, so we got candy.
Disgusting.
He's got the Nilla wafers, which I do like me a Nilla wafer.
That's fair.
Got the Pringles, the trail mix, the Nutty Bars, 1 apple and 1 banana for 4 people. Thought that was great.
It's like Lord of the Rings. You have your leaven bread. You got to make sure you can space it out in between your journey.
Yeah. and they're mad that he only brought snacks. He goes, because we don't need weapons. We have 11. Did you see it? She closed the door with her mind. What else do you think she could do? And then he runs over and he's like, here. And he's playing with the Millennium Falcon, which I love the shout out to Millennium Falcon. Probably my favorite spaceship. And he wants her to make it float. Oh, yeah. I love Millennium Falcon. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the X-Wing fighter is pretty cool, too.
I don't like it as much now that they ruined Star Wars, but
Aw. I don't know. Go back and watch Rogue One. I watched Rogue One recently.
Rogue One is good.
That might be the best Star Wars movie. Hot take.
Okay, you can see yourself out now. That's not okay to say.
Go back and watch it.
Did you know this? It's super off topic, but it's about Star Wars. I guess they are redoing Star Wars Land at Disneyland, and it's no longer going to be the new trilogy. It'll be the original trilogy.
Yes,
And
I'm all on top of the Disneyland lore, Star Wars lore, all of that.
I said, finally. No one cares about that crap.
They are just incorporating the original. They're still going to have the old ones too. Because the land's very big, so you'll have like Kylo and Rey in one section, but then you'll have the original.
No.
Yeah,
give me Darth Vader, Chewbacca. I want an animatronic or a person in a little thing, Yoda. I want a little person in the Yoda. That would.
They do
awesome.
have Baby Yoda. Have you seen Baby Yoda?
That's what I'm saying, man. Give me Yoda.
Yeah.
What would
be cool if he was like floating around in like a little contraption, kind of like Baby Yoda's contraption. That'd be cool.
Just like hopping around Star Wars land.
That'd be great.
Anyways, back to Stranger Things. Sorry.
Back to Stranger. Yeah. Moving on. Where were we? Oh, the Millennium Falcon. He wants 11 to try to make it float. He tries, drops it. He goes, "Oh wait, okay, you weren't ready. Let me try again." Then drops it again, and she just looks at him with this face, just like, I'm not a dog. I'm not. And I think actually Mike says that. She goes, "She's not a dog. Stop it." And she just looks at him, just like, I'm not doing that right now.
Doing that right now.
Yeah. And then
There's
Mike says she's not
here from Lucas though, where Lucas goes, "You think that weirdo knows where Will is?"
Yeah, he keeps throwing out weirdo. He does it another time too. He keeps calling. He's the weirdo to her for a while. But I think they need to leave or get ready for school or something. And so Mike tells 11, if you get hungry, eat dust and snacks. And then he says, meet us at the power lines after school. Okay, they're going to school at 3:15. And then he goes, she's like, what? He goes, I know you don't know things. You don't know time. Here, take my watch. 3:15. When it says 3:15, meet us outside. Did
you mention the Lucas wrist rocket?
Yes. The infamous wrist rocket.
There's a part later we'll get to when they're picking up rocks. It was so funny. I had to pause it. I couldn't stop laughing, but we'll get there when we get there. I just thought, let's set it up with the wrist rocket now when we get there.
It is funny. Yeah, so we're in the school hallway. Nancy thinks everyone's staring at her, so she's walking down the hallway. She just feels the glares from everybody because they all know what she did. I think Steve meets her at her locker. Yeah, he meets her at her locker, and he goes, "Hey, I had a good time." And they just talk for a second, but before he walks away, did you notice how he pokes the little butterfly sticker in her locker? It goes, and it walks away. Did you see that? It was so random.
I just saw that he hit it. I didn't hear the.
Yeah, he like pokes it. He goes, "Oh, cute." I don't know if he said, "Oh, cute," or he just like pokes it, snickers, and then walks away.
Steve being a good boyfriend after a day where you can tell Nancy feels insecure. She feels like, again, she's lost her innocence in some degree.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe not the best at it. And he kind of has a villainous part in later on in the episode, I guess, with Jonathan and everything. But there is a sense of like, I know, to kind of use blunt terms, you gave it up, but I'm still here. I'm not one of these, like, I don't think you're like my previous partners that are, in his words, not mine, whores.
Oh, okay.
Like he does value what Nancy has and brings, not from a sexual standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, which I think is kind of nice. Like there is a trying of, wanting to show her you are different to me than my previous people that I've been with.
Yeah, he does seem like he cares about her, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then we jump. That's just a quick scene. Then we jump to another quick scene, but it's Nancy in one of her classes. She sits down. There's an empty seat next to her, and she pokes Allie in front of her. "Hey, Allie, where's Barb?" And Allie's just like, "Shouldn't you know? Like, I'm not her friend. You're her only friend. She has no other friends but you, Nancy. You should know where she is." I just feel bad.
You're
like
only friend.
Poor Barb. But she's worried already. She's like, "Oh no, she's not there." And then we jump again to the Hawkins Lab. We're at the front gate, and Powell says, "Here we are at Emerald City." I guess I'm assuming call out to Wizard of Oz.
Yes, that is my assumption.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Callahan says they make space weapons in there. And he references like Reagan's Star Wars, which I heard before. That's a call out. Like, I guess Reagan was doing something they were developing like lasers or something, and he called it like Operation Star Wars. Did you know about this? I don't know if it's lasers, but Reagan, when he was in office, did have something called Star Wars.
Huh?
Maybe I'm not sure what it is, but it's a call out to something real. And then Callahan also goes on, Reagan Star Wars, they're going to blow up the Ruskies to smithereens.
Wait, that is our first like reference to the
Russians. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, you got to tie in the Russians somehow. I mean, they're going to be
all intertwined.
Yeah.
It's like
and then Hop pulls up to the front gate, and I think it's Patrick is guarding the front gate, and he goes, "Hey, we're here for the tour." Just like, hey, we're here. You guys have tours all the time, right? We're here.
The guy's Patrick, we don't really do tours.
Yeah. He's like, well, we don't do that here. And Hop's like, okay, listen, Patrick, I got a panicked mayor, I got reporters, I got an upset mother. We need to check this off the box. We got to check if there's a kid in there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, he's a real sweet talker, that Hopper. I mean,
oh yeah, he is.
I thought it was a good scene.
You can tell that he definitely feels like, because he's from the bigger city, that like he can kind of get away with a little bit of like, I can smooth talk my way through anything. You know, he's sleeping with librarians and random women, and like then he's like, like I kind of have that big city vibe to me in a small town. Like I'm better than these people in some aspects.
When we say big city, I thought of this the other day. I think we mentioned that we think he's from Chicago, but I think he might be from New York.
Oh, okay.
So I think we need to dig into that, because I didn't dig into it, but I think it might be New York actually.
I'll do it right now.
Oh, well, and then I'll move on to the next scene, because we are back in the basement. 11, she has ate all of Dustin's snacks. She's taken a bite out of the apple. Well, actually, I think she skipped the apple, took a bite out of the banana. But she's just sitting there. She's super bored. She's actually floating the Millennium Falcon, which is awesome, because she's just like, I could do it. This is super easy. And she goes, I put, they're my powers and I'll use them when I want to. Okay.
You are right. He was a homicide detective in New York City.
Okay. See, there we go.
He really was the most devious bastard in New York City.
Nice. But I said 11's all bored, so she goes upstairs. She sits in the lazy boy again, but that's lost. It's Lester. She picks up the phone. She mimics the dial tone, which I thought was kind of funny. She flips through the TV channels and then hits a Coke commercial, which jogs a memory for her. So she does a flashback. It's actually a cool cut fade, how it like fades down from the TV.
The transitions in this episode are fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're very
good.
noticeable. There's one with the Coke at the lab later, and there's one at a different time. I'm forgetting. I'm sure I have it in my notes, but like there is the cool transitions from scene to scene, and like it really ties. Like some directors and editors really struggle with scene transitions. Not here. This is full display of like, oh, they get it. This is awesome.
Yeah, we'll see a couple more later on. But her flashback is she's sitting at a table at the Hawkins Lab, we can assume, because Brenner's there. She's got a weird headpiece on, and she's sitting there in front of a Coke can, and she ends up crushing it with her mind power, and then she gets the infamous nosebleed. I forget if there's anything else that we notice. I guess it looks at Brenner. Brenner smiles. He seems happy about it, that she was able to do it.
He's pleased with his abusive children for today.
Nice. But then it fades back, I think the same way, back up the back of the TV, back onto 11's face. I thought that was kind of cool. So we're done with 11 in the flashback scenes. We're back at the buyer's house with Joyce, and she's getting the Christmas lights, and she starts hammering nails into all of her walls so she can hang up the Christmas lights, which I just underlined the hammering the nails, because when I was little, my dad hated it when we put too many holes in the walls with nails. He's like, don't put holes in the walls. He was always saying that. Right?
You know, every dad has that can of stucco of like, I don't want to have to use this all.
Yes, exactly.
Because you kids keep putting holes in the wall.
Yeah.
For that, I'll say, thank God for command strips.
That's true. But Joyce does not have enough Christmas lights to suit her needs. So
No.
she heads over to Melvald's, and she's at the store piling up all the Christmas lights they have. And I don't know if you noticed the last thing she put on the table, it was a cordless phone.
That would benefit her a lot.
Well, she's running through phone. I mean, I think we've zapped at least 2, if not 3. We need another phone.
How much did a cordless phone cost in 1983?
I'm going to go with $19.83.
Okay. Okay, Chris.
And I think we're close.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Nice. But I'm just curious. I don't know if we ever see this cordless phone, but I wonder if a cordless phone would zap the same way as the corded phone. But I don't know if we ever see this phone.
Yeah. Are we to believe that the cord is the reason the phone keeps getting zapped, and
it's tapped to the upside down somehow? Yes.
Okay, this says a consumer-grade residential cordless phone typically costs between $100 to $400.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Joyce, who do you think you are? You asked for a 2-week advance, and you're taking cordless phones from your job?
Whoa.
Work like a month. What are you doing?
I guess they were more expensive back then, huh? Jeez.
And they were not in 1983. Maybe $198.30, not $19.
Yeah. Well, to finish up that scene, you just get Joyce going, "Just ring me up, Donald." You know, he's just like, "Joyce, what are you doing? Just ring me up, Donald." We're moving on with this here.
The goal that Joyce has, again, you haven't worked in who knows how long, maybe it's a week or a few days, to ask for already a 2-week advance, then clean out your entire store in Christmas lights, buy a very expensive phone. Do you not have a house bill? Do you not have rent? Do you not have a lease on your car? Like,
I'll give her this. None of that matters when your child is missing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Did they even have credit cards in 1983? She just says money.
I'm assuming they do. Yeah. So then we jump
for Joyce Byers.
We jump back to the lab. We're looking in a pipe. It's a Hopper, the cops, and I put some dude in a suit and tie, and he's saying, "No one breaks into our lab here. It's not possible. Not some kid for sure.
It's not possible.
It's not possible." And Hop looks up and sees some cameras, and he goes, "Hey, you got some tapes for those cameras?" So he's noticing. He's looking around.
This reminded me of in season 5 when I'm forgetting their teacher's name, so forgive me, but when he's like, "Well, the cameras are going to see us," and Hopper's like, "Watch this," and it's probably 'cause it's the exact same camera, and it's just like a really random thing in my brain, but it reminded me of season 5. But yes, Hopper was like, "Show me the cameras," and in my notes I have, "They check tapes. ... Fishy, fishy."
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then we go inside the lab. We're going to go check the tapes in a minute, but as they're walking through the lab, Hop goes, "So what are you guys doing here exactly?" I mean, and then what does he say? "Oh, you're staying one step ahead of the Russians, huh?" So another call out to the Russians. It's always the Russians.
Always. Cold War, baby.
I mean, yeah.
Don't
and then
bring
he just
it back.
but then he just goes, "All right, who's in charge here?" Oh, and the guy just goes, "Oh, that's Dr. Brenner." And then Callahan's line, "Oh, he builds the space lasers, huh?" And Hop just goes, "Ignore him."
I do get the sense, though, despite Hopper kind of being tongue-in-cheek, he is kind of poking around just very lightly of what could I get from just kind of joking around and being just kind of lighthearted with my questions, because we see later he does do more investigating into Dr. Brenner in the library. Yeah. I also this does, I don't know if you've been to Washington, D.C. or New York on some of the tours and some of the government buildings or whatever, but I went there in 8th grade, and I'm sure a lot of schools did too. But this is the typical suit and tie, white coat. I'm going to take you where we don't I'm going to make sure you don't go where you're not supposed to. I'm going to guide this tour. You don't get to walk around free. Okay. You are your hands being held of, you go through this door when I say you can and everything. And while Hopper gets to go in and kind of do some sort of investigating, this is clear as day. Like you're only seeing one room and one room only.
Yeah, and that's probably how he feels, because the next scene is they're in the lab video room. They're looking at some scenes from the 6th and the 7th, and they see nothing. And Hop just goes, "What? That's it?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's it. See, I told you, nothing can get by us here." And then they're outside the lab, and Hop points out that on the night of the 7th, when they were searching, they had the search party in the rain for Will. He didn't see any rain on those videotapes, so he goes, "They're lying. They're lying to us." So he's figuring it out.
Do you think that they like messaged radio to somebody like, "Hey, police are here, scrub the tapes, put on some fake ones"? Or do you think that they saw Will and were like, "Oh my God, put up fake tapes on a continuous basis in case someone comes"? Because like you would think they're not expecting someone to drop by like the cops are. I would assume they radioed somebody and said, "Cops are here, put fake tapes on, do it now."
Yeah, I mean, back then it's so easy. Just all you do is just grab the VHS tape. It's not like it's stored anywhere, and you can bring up the deleted whatevers.
It's not in your downloaded folders on your laptop.
But also, they I think would only have video of 11 running out that pipe, because that's the pipe that 11 runs out of.
Okay,
I don't know if you remember.
So
11 runs out of that pipe. So all they have to do is grab that footage of her running out the pipe, put it in a different room, or burn it, whatever they want. I'm assuming they kept it. Put a different tape there that just has. All you gotta do is videotape the pipe on just videotape it for a while, and you can just double up the splicing. I mean, it's just a pipe sitting there.
So what I'm getting from what you're saying, and I'm sure you're right here, you've watched ahead more than I have. They're not really concerned about Will.
I think they are now, because remember
11.
they listened into Joyce's call to the police station about her son, so they do know of Will. So they are
right.
And at the end of the episode, because they've created a fake body of Will, so they do know about Will.
Okay, so they're aware of Will, but they're not necessarily worried about Hopper seeing the tapes and seeing Will, because Will isn't going to be on those tapes anyways.
No,
he wasn't in the lab. They're worried about Hopper seeing 11, and maybe they didn't
11
running around.
Or just him seeing anything. They just don't want him to be part of this at all. That's my thinking.
Interesting.
They want all of this to be over with. They want it all to be done. They don't want to be doing this.
Okay, because I have a question, or maybe it's been answered just now, about Will's fake body, but we'll get to that towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get more into his fake body, because we won't find out in this episode. But spoilers to anybody.
We know.
You should have already known, Ben. You should have already seen all these episodes. Yeah, it's not his body; it's a fake body. And I think we'll get more into that body in the next episode.
Yes.
But what do? We fade through. Oh, so remember Hopper? This was another cool edit, because Hopper was outside saying that they faked the tapes. They're lying, and then we fade through the vent outside the lab, which fades into a fan inside the lab. It goes like it's a lower floor of the lab. They're standing in front of the gate that's open to the Upside Down, and you just see Brenner looking there all serious in his bee suit. Yeah. So again, another cool edit.
Hazmats.
Yeah, I like calling them their beekeeper suits, 'cause that's what it looked like in the first episode. They were using duct. Remember, they were using weird tubes and duct tape to put them all together. Then we go to the Wheeler's house. Is another call out to the feet edit. We see 11's feet going upstairs.
Yes.
Then we're in Nancy's room. 11 is looking at Nancy's music box, looking at pictures. And I think it's just a little scene for 11, kind of showing her longing for like a life like this. Like,
yes,
she wishes she didn't grow up in a lab in Hawkins, or she's realizing how she could have grown up if she wasn't stuck in the lab her whole life. That's what I got from this scene.
No, you are 100% right. Millie Bobby Brown, last episode, when she's in the closet, does a great job acting afraid and scared. And I think in this episode, there's so much great eye acting, and you get the tenderness, and a lot of it does come from Eleven in the first couple episodes of the tenderness in her eyes, because she's a kid and she has those big puppy dog eyes that we all fall in love with. But here, when she's looking at the photos of Nancy and Barb, and Nancy as a kid, you're right. You get that sense of yearning for something she never had, and really doesn't get to have until season 3 with Max when they're at the mall and whatever, and doesn't really ever get to have after that either. She never gets to have that normal childhood outside of one episode in season 3 before the fleshy mind flayer comes to get her. And of course, the way the show ends, like there really isn't a happy ending for her. And that is heartbreaking to see it going back now, of like, she really wants that. She wants to be normal and have friends and have a group, and she gets a semblance of that again, but she never gets to have what Nancy got, a normal childhood with good friends and great memories to look back on. Her entire life is a lab and a, doctor's gown or whatever, being abused, and it never changes.
Yeah, it would be natural for her to just want and long for those things.
Yeah, but also I wonder, she doesn't even know life like that exists. Like, she's like, kind of, what is this? Like, I never got to experience this. What is this other life I never got to know? It's maybe there is good in that, I guess, but yeah, very heartbreaking.
Yeah. Then we move on. We're in the cafeteria with Nancy, Steve, and Co. That's what I put, because we're with Tommy and Carol.
They suck.
Well, and then I got here. Nancy chooses to ask Tommy H, of all people, if he's seen Barb. I don't know why she chooses Tommy, because Tommy pretends to have never even heard of a person called Barb, because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't ask Tommy. Don't even acknowledge him. He's gross.
Just gaslighting Nancy.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Steve tells him, "Don't be an ass. Did you see her leave? Did you see her?" Because I think she asked Tommy, "Did you see Barb leave the house last night?" That's what she asked her. And so Steve, "Don't be an ass. Did you see her leave?" And he's all, no, we didn't. And Carol says, probably couldn't stand all the moaning. And then that's when we get her doing the loud moaning, and then Tommy's banging on the table. Steve looked kind of slightly flattered, I would say. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like, they shouldn't be doing that, but I'm also slightly flattered at the same time.
like I did a good job then, but I'm not doing a good job now. Being a boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's funny how he defends her when Tommy's being a jerk about like who's Barb, but then like when they are audibly and very loudly mocking her about what transpired in the bedroom, he is just like, okay.
And so inappropriate for the cafeteria with all the other people around. Like I've already said before, I can't stand Tommy H and can't stand Carol.
But let's not act like we didn't grow up with people like this, whether you grew up in the 90s or the 80s or the 2000s, and varying degrees of misbehavior. There's always that couple people you're like, okay, like maybe the cafeteria amongst everybody isn't the place to let this noise or let this news out to the public.
But then Steve just says, she's probably skipping class or something. And I was just thinking, because Barb seems like a person that would skip class. No, she doesn't. She's never skipped class.
Yeah, but there is that like flippant, like, who cares about Barb? And also like, she's fine, whatever. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. And then just a quick shot of Jonathan walking by the door, peering into the cafeteria. And then I think he locked eyes with Nancy.
Doing his best Michael Myers impression, you freak.
I guess so. But then this is a scene I think you liked. It's recess. It's recess for our three favorite boys. They're looking for rocks. Dustin actually asked, was 11 born with powers or acquired them like the X-Men? Which I thought was a good question.
Which is a callback to the Uncanny X-Men comic book that he bets will in their race in episode 1.
Oh, sure. That's right. And then Lucas says she's not a superhero. She's just a weirdo. So there's another call out to him calling her a weirdo.
Yeah.
And Mike sticks up for her. What does that matter? The X-Men were weirdos.
It's true.
And then you get Lucas doing the whole, "Oh, you love her, you want to marry her."
Okay, I have the exact quote, and I'm gonna try to do it exactly how he did it. He went, "L, I love you so much. Will you marry me?" It's so
Thank you for
funny.
doing that. I did not want to. But it was kind of cute.
I paused and had to laugh. I was like, I did not expect that.
Hi, L. I love you so much. Would you marry
Shut up,
me?
Lucas.
Yeah. But back to them looking for rocks. I thought that was kind of funny how they're just standing. They're all just like in this random spot at the school, just looking for rocks on the ground. We need the right size because they can't be too big, can't be too small.
Yeah.
It's got to fit the wrist rocket. Remember the wrist rocket.
There's another quote from Lucas at the end of this scene I also love. We'll get to it, but
okay. Well, so
it makes me think back of all the kids that were at recess that would pick up rocks, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking for the wrist rocket rock. Right? Anyways, continue, please.
Well, Troy and James, these a-holes show up, and they're talking bad about Will, saying they say Will is dead, probably got killed by some other queer.
Yeah.
These guys are jerks. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of jerks in this episode between Tommy and Carol and these two. But they go on to trip Mike, and Mike trips and slams his chin so hard on a rock.
Yeah. How did he not break his chin? It looks
I
brutal.
know. Well, this show is actually really good at like showing people get hurt brutally for what feels like a kid show. But like you'll see later on in these episodes where these characters get beat up. I mean,
for those that complain about in later seasons the plot armor they have, this probably should have broken some teeth or broke Mike's jaw, and he's like, I have a cut.
God, I didn't even think it might have. Yeah, it might have broken teeth because you slam your jaw shut. Yeah,
dude.
But yeah, he's just got a good gash on the chin.
Kid when I was in middle school. We were playing dodgeball, and we had concrete floors in our gym, and someone threw a ball at him. He jumped up, it hit his legs and took him out. And so he's falling face first on the concrete. His two front teeth slam on the concrete floor, shatter them in half.
Whoa.
Like we're looking at little bits of teeth. And it reminded me because the way Mike hits that rock, I'm like, dude, so much more damage could have been done. Like you could have lost teeth, broke a jaw. And I was like, oh, brutal.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about the last part of this scene? Because Dustin looks around, he finds a good rock, and I think he hands it to Lucas. And then what does Lucas say?
The way Lucas says this line, he goes, "Yeah, this is the monster killer."
Yep, the monster killer. But the scene ends with them all smiling and finding a way for them all to smile after they've just gotten bullied and hurt. So I thought that was good friends trying to
just the way Lucas goes, yeah. It gets me every time.
Yeah. Then we cut to the I don't know what this, I forget what they call these. Is it the development room? I put red room, picture developy room.
That's I think I have it the photo room. So yeah.
The photo room. And then so Jonathan's hanging up the creepy pics. Some girl walks in and she sees them, and so Jonathan grabs them and hurries out. And the girl just like you see her have like a weird look on her face, like she saw something. But then this is another
out for the public to see. It's like, dude, it's right there. What are you doing, man?
Yeah. But then we got the best edit of the episode. I think it's called a match cut. Might be the best one. Maybe not the best of the series, but maybe best of the season. I don't know. But
it's really good.
Yeah, the way it fades from the red light in the room to one of the Christmas lights in the buyer's house. That was awesome.
Cinema.
So we got Joyce. She's just finishing up putting up all her Christmas lights. And then did you did you hear how the score changes with the Christmas lights? I don't know if you've sensed it, but if you go back and watch, the score changes, and it's like I don't know what they use for it, but it's almost like someone's tinkling the lights. That's what it's kind of the score sounds like.
Okay.
And then there's a knock at the door, and it's Karen, and she's got a casserole, and she brought Holly over too. But I thought there was a good contrast of Joyce just looking like a mess, and Karen looks great.
Disheveled. Yes.
But also Karen looks fine, and she also has a kid in hand.
Yes. Yes.
Or so the opposite is Joyce looking a mess and missing her kid. So
good pickup, Chris. We're doing things.
We're doing
analysis.
Analysis. Let's jump to the library. We got Hop and Pal at the library, which is kind of a funny scene because the librarian, you have a lot of nerve showing up here. You could have called, could have said sorry. You could have called and said sorry. I'm a dick. And Hop is like, oh, sorry. Maybe we can go out next week. Apparently they had a thing together, Hop and the librarian. So we're getting this thing with Hop where he had some other girl in the bed in the last episode, and now he's got a thing with the librarian. I mean, I guess
he's looking.
He gets around at least. Yeah,
Hop in my notes I go, Hop, you dirty dog. Getting around, my friend.
But he's like, he asks her, "Hey, you got some newspapers?" So they're researching the lab. She shows them where to find everything. He tells her, "Okay, well, you start with the Times." And I thought that was funny because he's like, "So you're mad at me, but you're also going to start helping me. So you go start looking at the Times. We're going to look at this and that." And then just a little quote from Pal goes, "The librarian, huh?" And Hop just smirks and rolls his eyes like, "I don't know." I thought it was
typical
like
funny. Sitcom like. This was the beginning of his sitcom dad season 3 era. It was always there. It was always in somewhere.
But then we get a research montage of Hop and Pal looking for something to do with the lab. You do see a mention of Brenner on one of the newspapers. A mention of Terry Ives. Actually, you see Terry Ives' name. So. Little montage there.
Forgive me. Who is Terry Ives? Is that
Elle's
mom?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get more to her later.
MKUltra. Ooh.
That's right. I don't know if I mentioned that there, but I think we do get another mention of it later. I forget. But yes, MKUltra was a mention. We're in the buyer's kitchen. Joyce is talking to Karen. Oh, Will loved Christmas. She's trying to explain away all the Christmas lights. And Karen asks, Karen asks her how Jonathan's doing, and Joyce just goes, "Oh, he takes care of himself. He's fine."
Yeah, that was, but it's tough because I know Jonathan in this episode he's kind of being a freak and with the photos and everything, but like this again is more of Jonathan is the forgotten son.
Well, that's why I wrote this down, because I think that's a running joke for the series is Jonathan is not just the forgotten son, forgotten character also. And there's jokes where Joyce only cares about Will and not Jonathan. So
if you think
he takes care of himself.
Jonathan and Ted Wheeler have more in common than you really think.
And Ted?
Yeah, Ted and Jonathan maybe go hand in hand in forgotten characters.
Okay, well, good segue. Because Karen, I don't know if you caught this line. Karen says, "Ted and I are here for you, Joyce." And I was thinking to myself, Ted? What's Ted gonna do?
Yeah,
you mean you're here for
Ted?
Yeah, Ted's not gonna do anything. You're here for Joyce. Forget Ted. I thought that was funny.
But that is the typical when your wife has a friend. Like Ted is not a friend to Joyce, right?
Yeah, but you gotta say it. I know.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny.
Because you know that conversation's like, "Okay, Ted, I'm going over to the buyer's house to get to his castle." He's like, "Would you make me one?" He's like, "No.
I'm hungry too."
Yeah.
What I do. And then we got Holly. She's following the lights down the hallway into Will's room. We're in Will's room and you hear a low growling. The lights. Forget if the lights are flickering at this point. I forget.
Are they not going down the hallway with her?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the lamps. I'm talking about the lamps in the room.
Oh,
I forget. Okay. But the lights, the Christmas lights on the ceiling lead Holly down the hallway into Will's room. But you hear a low growling, and then Holly sees a hand pushing through the wall, and then that's when Joyce comes in and she's like questioning Holly, like, "Did you see something? Did you see something? What's going on here?" And she goes, "You know what? Forget it. You guys just need to go. Thanks for the casserole, but get out of here."
Yeah, I have a few questions. One, is the demo just searching for Will, or is he trying to grab Holly?
Maybe he's just searching for Will and he's going in between Steve's house and Will's house. He's jumping back and forth. Barb and Will, Barb and Will.
Yeah, like I know
don't know.
it's meant to just kind of give you more of the, something is coming, something's out there, there's a monster, and like give you more of the horror elements of like anything could happen. They can kill Barb, we can kill Will, we can kill another child if we, want to go that far and everything. But like now that we know there was a legitimate purpose behind the Demogorgon taking Will, it does, when you look back, make you think of like, okay, then was it going to take Holly here? Because it eventually does take Holly in season 5. Like, was there plans for that, or was it just kind of like, I don't know.
I don't know. That's interesting. I just assume he's still looking for Will because he knows Will is going back to this house because Will has already been at this house conversing through the phone, conversing through the lights conversing, trying to talk to Joyce,
right?
trying to reach out in any way he can. Right.
And then you mentioned the casserole quote. I have it here. Karen, thank you for your casserole, but you need to leave.
Yeah. It's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Then we jump to Nancy's at a payphone at the school, and she calls Barb's mom to check in on Barb. She goes, "Hey, is Barb there?" And then Barb's mom's like, "No, she was with you last night. I haven't seen her. Like, what's going on?" And then Nancy goes, "Oh, I just remembered. She's in the library. I forgot." Just kind of just blowing past everything. Where it's like you wouldn't have taken your time to make this phone call if you knew she was in the library.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love the end is just like Barb's mom's like, "Okay, something's fishy here. Hey, can you have Barb call me when you see her? Thanks."
Yeah.
What is going on here? I like
how in this season, and I'm sure I've said it already before in the last episode, so for the sake of redundancy, I like how every character is being drip fed information, and like they slowly come to the realization in different ways with Barb and Hopper, and Hopper and Joyce kind of have their big kind of revelation in this one with maybe there's more to the lab and Joyce with the Demogorgon, but like now it's Nancy getting information, it's Jonathan getting information, and now it's Barb's mom getting information of like something really bad happened and we have no idea what. And I do like that because it does build a mystery as to what's happening, which you don't really have that in the rest of the seasons.
Yeah, totally. But then we jump to this is a kind of a bigger scene or important scene. It's the school parking lot where there's a posse waiting at Jonathan's car. Steve.
A posse.
Yeah, that's what I put. Got Steve, Tommy H, Carol, and then we find out it's Nicole. Steve says, "Nicole told us about your work. We're connoisseurs of art." He's talking to Jonathan as Jonathan walks up. "We're connoisseurs of art." And Tommy H swiftly steals Jonathan's bag. And Jonathan just goes, "I was looking for my brother." And Steve goes, "Oh, this is after they're looking through his bag and they're looking at the pictures." And Jonathan goes, "I was looking for my brother." And Steve goes, "No, these are called stalking," holding up the pictures. So it's just kind of a tough scene with Jonathan. Just he's caught red-handed, obviously. Yeah. Nancy arrives. She looks really sad at the situation. She's just like, "What's going on?" They show her the pictures. She's just sad, doesn't seem mad, just sad and almost disappointed by what's happening.
Sure.
Steve moves on and says, "Oh, we got to take away his toy," talking about Jonathan's camera. So he almost gives the camera back to Jonathan, but then drops it right before he's about to hand it to him and smashes it. Tommy H, as they start to leave, Tommy H does a boo in Jonathan's face, which I thought was just maybe it's necessary just because what Jonathan was doing was wrong. But I don't like Tommy, so I don't like that he did that. But I'm very confused by that part. Not sure how to think about that part.
The question is Steve justified in doing what he did to Jonathan's camera? I think so.
It's just, I think so, yeah. And I don't like having to say that, especially because we later will like and care a lot for these characters.
Yeah.
So it's interesting coming back and watching this and going, how do I feel about this? Because what Jonathan did is wrong, and it's creepy, it's weird, don't like it, but it's what happened, it's what was written, this happened. So yeah, it's just kind of tough emotionally to deal with all of it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can kind of defend Jonathan in a way of like he's young. Sometimes you don't really understand the gravity of something you're doing when it's happening, and then like you get caught, or you kind of take a step back and you go, "Oh, wow, that was really dumb of me." Obviously, in this case, he should know better than what he actually did. But my point more so was like sometimes you don't realize it, or you don't really understand the gravity of the situation. But I do like the quote from Steve saying, "That's the thing about perverts. It's hardwired in them. They can't help themselves." And I was like, damn. Like,
I heard that. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't. I've already been writing a lot. I got pages and pages. I didn't have time to write all of that, but I'm glad you wrote that line down, because that is a powerful line, and that's tough. That's a tough one for Jonathan to have to hear and ingest.
Like his brother's dead. Now he's being accused of being a pervert. Like, obviously his pictures come back to actually like unravel the mystery of like something is, bigger than life happening.
Well, so that's a good segue to what is going on next, because the end of the end of the scene is Nancy spots a picture on the ground of Barb, and so she scoops that one up. I think she scoops up a couple others that have Barb's face, and then she scurries off. And then I kind of I'm trying to understand Nancy's take on this, because you would think she should be angry, and a lot of people were that was kind of the conversation in the fan base, that she should be mad. But it almost seems that the only way I can like try to find a way to turn it a little bit in favor of Jonathan, sort of, is that she understands that he's missing a brother and she's also missing a friend. So they're both missing someone that they love. So that's the only thing I could think of, is like why Nancy looks the way she does. And she just seems not mad, just sad and disappointed.
Yeah, I think there is something to that. My thought was she probably would have been more upset had she not seen the picture of Barb, and that kind of like snapped her back to her reality of like, yeah, I should be upset by what Jonathan did. What girl wouldn't be? What guy wouldn't be? Because it is inappropriate and gross. But then she gets the picture of Barb and is like, oh, like, I miss my friend, and I don't know what happened to her. She doesn't know what happened to her, obviously. No one really does. They just know she's not present for whatever reason. And I think the kind of the unknown of the whole thing is like, I don't know what to feel because I don't know what happened. She could be okay. She could be gone. And so I do think that that kind of blinded her to Jonathan's wrongdoing.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But then we jump to the power lines. 11 is waiting by the power lines that Mike told her to wait. She's pacing back and forth. She's saying 315 because she was supposed to meet at 3:15. 315, 315, 315. And then there's a cat that meows, and that creates another flashback in her mind. We flash back to the lab. It's a memory flashback. There's a cat hissing in a cage at 11. She's crying. She's shaking her head. Brenner's looking at her. He's looking upset that she's not doing what he wants her to do, which I can only assume he wants her to like
kill the cat,
snap the cat's neck. I don't know, but
which she does later in the scene.
She does, because she starts getting dragged down the hallway to a closet, and when they get to couple fellows in their white gown shirts and pants, they throw her in the closet. But before they close the door on her, she force pops it open. A guy falls back into the wall, probably gets knocked out or killed, and then she force snaps another guy's neck, kills him.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool scene. And then Brenner, he walks over, just looking not mad at these guys that are dead on the ground. He's impressed by the situation. I don't know if you noticed, like 11's, she's just upset. She's crying. She's falling into the wall. But did you notice the veins that were like popping on her face and the nosebleed? She like, it took a lot of energy out of her to do that, as you can see. And then Brenner scoops her up, says, "Incredible." Like Brenner talks. He steps over the dead bodies like they're nothing to him and walks down the hallway.
I love that Dr. Brenner, and we get more from him obviously as the season goes on and as season 4 comes back in his return. But I like how initially, without really knowing what he's doing, and like we just kind of like get tidbits of it. We're drip fed like the characters are in the show. Like he is this kind of this looming thread of like, what exactly are you doing? What exactly is going on? He doesn't talk much. It's very kind of one-worded lines, if anything at all. He's not this like, mustache twirling like, oh, here's my exposition. It's just like, no, whatever he's doing is one, obviously abusive, but it's just very kind of government behind the scenes. You don't need to know what I'm doing. You just know I'm the bad guy here. And I really like that. He is just kind of that foreboding, like, I don't know what you do, but whatever you're doing is really bad.
Yeah. And we don't really get his full backstory until season 4. I don't even remember how much more we get from him in this season. I think we just get a little bit more, but not a full backstory at all.
Yeah.
But after 11's memory flashback, we're back by the power lines, and Mike and Lucas and Dustin are showing up on their bikes, and she hops on the back of Mike's bike and they ride off. Then we cut back to the school again. We're at the lockers, and Carol is lying on a bench by the lockers. Steve's there, Nancy, Tommy H are there, and Carol has a crappy line where she goes, I told him the solution of 10 plus y equals blow me, and now I have detention. I can't stand these characters. Did you get that?
10 plus
10
y
equals below me. She's just a jerk. She's just being a jerk. And she thinks it's funny. It's not funny.
Like, I know it's like 8 equals D. It's like a thing when you're in middle school. I wonder
if that's how they wrote it, or if she just came up with it on her own. They just said, just get to the point. Just get to the end. Get to the equals. Yeah. But then, so it's a short scene, but what I got from this was she says that, which is so dumb. And I think Nancy rolls her eyes and goes, why am I even here with these dumb idiots? And she just, she starts walking away without even saying anything. And they're like, I think Steve goes, where are you going? I gotta do something. And she just leaves. Because she's just thinking about Barb. And she doesn't want to hang out with these dumb people talking about dumb stuff.
We got to think like they're pretty light when it comes to, or they're pretty smooth brain people. And she's like, I don't know if it was, I don't know who says it. It may have been either Tommy or Carol that says like, well, you are dating Miss Perfect to Steve. And
I think that might have been after this when she walks away. Yeah. Okay.
So like you do get the sense of like Nancy's probably an honor roll. She probably is, a high honor student. She's probably getting straight A's, or, she's has a high GPA or whatever. Like she is, and comes across as one, a lot of money, two, dressed really well. She's dressed more akin to a higher status person in the school. And her reputation is, she is Miss Perfect, and it's shocking that she would even like a person like Steve Harrington, which feeds into Barb, but also feeds into, she does value herself and realizes like, I'm better than all these people. Like, why am I?
That is how we were. I feel like we were supposed to feel about her character. Everything you just said. But then we jump to Mirkwood. I think they're just riding. I don't even think they're riding their bikes. The kids are, because they're just walking through the woods. Dustin, Mike.
It's 11. A very short scene. Yeah,
it's a short scene, but 11, she sees Mike's chin cut that he got, and he says, "Oh, I just tripped and fell," and she can tell he's lying. And she goes, "Friends tell the truth." And Mike goes, "Okay, I got tripped by a mouth breather, Troy." And then she goes, "I think she's a mouth breather." I think he explains that, and then I think they say a couple of things, but she just looks at him and goes, "I understand." And then Mike, he has like a cute little smirk at the end of the scene that she understands, and he's falling more for 11. He's liking that she understands, and it seems like she still likes him, even though he's getting tripped by these, getting picked on.
Well, I'm sure to some extent, Yeah, and I think I'm sure to some extent, like she does see herself of she was abused and she was bullied by, people that are bigger and stronger than her entire life, and now Mike is getting that too. Like she can probably relate to him in some capacity. Um, I also like the fact that Mike apologizes to lying for her. He doesn't know
Yeah.
her. He had to do that, and
Yeah.
we learn that all of these younger children are high character people throughout the show. And I think Mike exemplifies that a lot in season 1 of whether it's how he acts towards Will and when Will comes to him and says, I rolled the whatever it was in the first scene of the series, and he's like, okay, like you don't have to tell me, like it's okay, man, like it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
And even the way he's willing to kind of deal with Lucas's pushback and now 11, like he'll face anything, he'll accept anybody, and he's a high character child for as small as he is.
Yep. Well, so then, like you said, all the cuts. So it seems like we're cutting a lot at the end of this.
Bang bang. You're just jumping around from each person.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we're gonna cut to Nancy. She goes and finds Barb's car where they parked it, and Barb's not there. Obviously, she yells for Barb. It's like I just think it's funny when characters find like another character's car. Like, oh, are you nearby? I'm gonna yell for you. And then she goes to because then she'll end up going back to the pool at Steve's house and yells for Barb again. She'll go into the forest and yell for Barb. I just thought it was interesting. Let's just wander around yelling for Barb. But then when she's in the forest, something scurries by and scares her, and she runs away. I'm not sure what that was. Are we to assume it was the Demogorgons? I don't think so. I didn't think they come out in the daylight.
Well, that was my question of like, are we meant to think that's the demo, or is that more so just Nancy's on edge, she's scared, and a cat ran by, or like a wolf or a coyote ran by in the middle of Hawkins?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, but maybe we'll find out more later. But it just seemed like just something spooked her and she ran away.
I also have a question, and maybe I'm dumb, but so Will is talking to Joyce through the phone, and as we learn through the lights, but we don't really understand how he's doing that. There really isn't any lore behind that. We learn the light stuff happens later on in season 4, too. But we don't really understand how Will is verbally communicating with Joyce through the phone. At least for now. If you're able to have a phone call in some way from the upside down to the right side up, why can you not hear someone yelling from the upside down through into the right side up?
Yeah,
is that more
seems like the conversation only goes one way, which I think we see in season 4.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Like when they're
maybe I'm forgetting
the light bright scene.
Yeah.
So the light bright is being used by Dustin in the right side up. And then he will yell to them in the upside down. They could hear him in the upside down. So when you're in the upside down, you can hear people close by.
Okay.
But you can only communicate back via electric pulses, apparently. Yeah.
But we hear Will talking to Joyce through the phone.
Because he uses the electric pulses through the phone.
Okay. So it's
kind of like the Christmas lights. That's all I can think of.
Just want a clarification because I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
How's this work?
I don't even know if they fully grasp it either, but it just works for the show. It's cool. I like it.
Our billion listeners right now are like, wow, Sterling, you're an idiot. You don't know the lore.
Exactly. I'll try to reel him in, everybody. So then we jump to the buyer's house. The dog is back. He's barking at the lights. I don't know if we ever see the dog again. But there is the cool score is back. The tinkling of the lights. So maybe if you go back and listen, it's like the lights are. It's like someone's like tinkling all of them. I love this score.
The tinkling.
But the lights are blinking, and they kind of lead Joyce over to a hidden cupboard behind like some like drawers or something. And I'm just wondering, so she opens that drawer and she goes in there, and that's where she grabs like a big bunch of Christmas lights that are not currently on. And she goes in there, and that's where she starts communicating with him. And I was thinking like, so is that where Will's hiding? He's hiding in that little cupboard.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's kind of cool, or just cool to think of.
So I have a lot of questions. One, we learn when she puts the kind of the ABCs up later, it's like one of the most iconic parts of season 1 and maybe of the entire show.
Sure.
But I have questions. Again, how does she hear Will? We kind of already answered that, so we can move on. But we learn in season 4 that the Upside Down is stuck on the day Will gets taken.
Yeah.
Right? These Christmas lights are new. And I can forgive the ABC stuff because you can think, 26 lights, 26 letters, Will's a smart kid, whatever. But when she has that ball of lights, those were not there, right? Those are brand new lights she just bought. Thus, Will does not know those lights exist.
No, but they do kind of explain that in season 4 too. You can, when you're in the Upside Down, you can see like this little weird glow of where there is a source of light. And so he goes over to it. He can see like there's like this little fog, and if he reaches his hand into that little fog, it makes her lights turn on. So that's how that works.
Okay. See, this is why you're here, to help me not sound idiotic and answer my dumb questions. It's perfect.
But again, so we'll get to that with the ABCs because those don't fully make sense either. But because it's so iconic, I'm willing to overlook all of it.
Okay.
But we'll try to get there quickly.
You're too forgiving, Chris.
I am. I really am. Because we have this scene where Joyce is asking him to blink the lights once for yes and 2 for no. And so she says, "Are you alive?" We get a blink. "Are you safe?" 2 blinks for no. But then she quickly forgets the yes and no thing and just says, "Where are you? Tell me how to help you." And then she just kind of rattles off a few things and then he doesn't blink it because he's like, "Those are not yes or no questions. You completely evaded the yes or no scenario here."
You're not following your own rules, Joyce. This is your fault.
But then she comes up with we jump quickly to her grabbing a paint can and start painting the ABCs. So it's like, I see where you're going here. Then we jump to the Wheeler's house. Nancy is crying to Karen, so she goes home. She's crying. And then Nancy just says, "It's Barb and something terrible happened." And I think they embrace. Quick scene, but again, Karen just being the mom. And then we're back at the library with Hop and Powell. We see Terry Ives mentioned. We see Brenner mentioned and involved. This is where we see the MKUltra. They talk about the CIA. But then I just got a Hop mentioning that maybe Will was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Which is kind of what happened.
Which is kind of what happened. Yeah, which is probably what just usually happens a lot of the time anyways.
Sure.
And then Callahan, they get a phone call, I think, from Callahan. And then there's a jump cut to them rushing out of the library, and they turn on their siren and they take off. So Callahan called them, "Hey, get down to what we know now is the quarry." So they head off to the quarry.
Well, you are missing something in this scene because you do get the hint of Hopper unknowingly picking up the connection of 11 and Brenner when he mentions the hospital gowns and then finding one.
Right.
So like he does, like, kind of unbeknownst to himself, start kind of getting connections and start kind of bridging the gap, if you will, from Brenner and what he's doing in the lab to 11, and there being another kid out there that is now missing, or at least on the loose.
Yeah, this is like the beginning of him digging into everything, but then they get a call, so we gotta quickly evade all that, just get to the quarry, see what's going on. We cut to the kids. So they were walking. So the kids were walking through Mirkwood. Love Mirkwood, but they were supposed to be looking for Will, and I guess they assumed that 11 was taking them to where she assumes or thinks Will is, but she leads them back to Will's house.
Yeah,
and then she just says, "He's here," and they go, "What are you talking about? This is his house, but he's not here. He's missing." And she goes, "No, he's hiding." And then Lucas, he's mad. But then we can get more into this, but then they see cop cars go by, and so they grab their bikes and they race after the cop cars.
Yeah.
But I think there's a little more we can get into here. How does 11 know that Will is hiding there? And so my own canon assumption is we have seen 11 holding that radio a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that, but in the last couple episodes, she's constantly holding the radio. Has she already? I kind of wish they had a little clip of her using the radio to look for Will, but I feel like maybe she already used the radio to go into that in between that she does, where it's the everything's all the black world and she's just in her mind in the in between. Maybe she's already tried to look for Will and she noticed, oh, he's at his house or he's at Castle Byers or. So that's all I can think of how she would think he's there.
Yeah, I'm all for a TV or movie kind of showing me, don't telling me, or leaving things up to my own imagination at times, and also leaving things ambiguous. Albeit the Duffers in season 5 definitely leaned on that too heavily, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know how 11 knows Will is here. I know we talked about your theory of she opened the door. To kind of when Will gets taken. I don't personally believe that, but if you do, that's fine. I don't know if maybe she just kind of got the sense, but I think maybe your headcanon of maybe she was in the between purgatory of the upside down, if you will.
I just thought it was interesting that she's holding the radio a lot. So
that makes
I was just trying to come up with something.
Yeah.
But then the kids follow the cop cars. They grab their bikes. They take off. But then we jump to Joyce. She's back she's inside. She's finishing up painting the ABCs. And she starts doing the ABC Christmas lights talking to Will. And this scene is actually way shorter than I remembered. It's super quick. She just says, "Where are you?" He essentially types or texts to her on the wall right here. And then all he does is type RUN run. And then that's when the Christmas lights start going crazy and a Demogorgon pops through the wall.
Okay.
Super quick.
1, it's awesome. 2, I have more questions. So we're to believe that Will was hiding in potentially the cupboard from the Demogorgon, right? Okay, I know Will doesn't really know how the mechanics of the Upside Down work because why would he? There's no idea. But is he telling her to one? Joyce draws him out of the hiding place to come with the letters, and she doesn't know that either. But it's like, you really screwed your kid up here, Joyce. He was hiding in a good spot, and now he's out in the open. But my other bigger question is, okay, he is telling her to run. How does he know the Demogorgon is trying to get to Joyce? And why would the Demogorgon try to get to Joyce, which we are to believe through the house, when the Demogorgon probably knows that Will is already in the house in the Upside Down? Why doesn't he just grab Will instead? Or is it a two-way message of I have to run and you need to run too?
That's what I'm going to go with because you have too many questions, Sterling.
It's about analysis, Chris.
That they don't know the answer, and neither do we. But the scene is awesome and iconic, and we're going to go with that.
Man. This is how they built the new Star Wars trilogy. Well, that scene's cool. Does it make sense? Not at all.
No.
Okay, put it in the movie.
But it is a good scene. And I don't know how to really explain how he's communicating. I don't know how he knows where each letter is. He's just guessing, and he's just a really smart kid, and he's good at that.
That makes sense. There's 26 lights. You can put it together.
That's true. He could. Yeah,
smart
the 26 lights. Yeah, true.
It would be funny though if he's putting he's got it 26, but has it the inverse on accident, and he's just putting in gibberish of run.
Yeah, it's just gibberish. He's just texting T X Z Y L. I don't know what you're saying.
She's like, bread.
Okay. So the rest of this is pretty quick.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Here we go.
No more questions.
No more questions. we jumped to the bikes following the cop cars. There's some good music and a good edit there. How they're riding through Hawkins. I thought that was pretty cool. We get to the quarry where Hop is arriving at the quarry. Hop gets out of his truck and he goes, "Oh, they see in the water that someone's in the water." He goes, "Please tell me it's not the kid." Jump to the kids arriving. They hide behind a fire truck. We then do actually see the body getting lifted out of the water, which is right when Heroes by Peter Gabriel starts playing, which is which was awesome. And then Hop sees the body, and you can tell he walks away just looking defeated because he's like, that is the kid. That is Will. Oh no, he walks away. Cut over to Mike where he goes, it's not Will. It can't be. And then cut to Lucas going, it's really is Will. It is Will. And then 11 tries to comfort Mike, goes, Mike. And then he whaps her hand away, goes, Mike, what? You said he's alive. What's wrong with you? And then Lucas goes, don't do this, man. Don't do this. And then Mike runs over to his bike and leaves. And then we get another quick cut over to Joyce running down the street because she's running away from the Demogorgon when he came through the wall. She runs into Jonathan. Jonathan was driving back home. He jumps out of his car. They hug. Then we cut to the Wheelers. Mike gets home crying. Barb's parents are there in the living room. Karen gets up out of the living room, runs over and hugs Mike. Then we cut back to Joyce and Jonathan hugging in the street, and there's cop cars in the background. They're coming to probably tell Joyce, hey, we found him. The song ends. It cuts to black, and we head to credits. It's a lot of cutting.
It is, but it's
a lot of stuff.
It's a lot.
I don't know if I did it justice, but I did my best to. The last minute of the show is one full page of notes.
Unfortunately for you, I do have some questions.
Yeah.
But I think this is fantastic. There's the emotions of Hopper of like, my investigation is over. I've lost another kid in the town. Going back to him saying he was cursed in the last episode of like his curse is now coming back to fruition again in his life. The realization of that, the kids losing their friend. It's funny because Lucas and Dustin are like bawling their eyes out, and Mike like really can't cry. And Finn Wolfhard has shown that he also really can't cry when he's older either in season 5. But I felt this as more of like, I don't believe it, so I'm not going to let myself cry, and I'm going to run instead. So I'm okay with this, of the lack of tears, if you will, from Mike or Finn Wolfhard. And I also like, for as much as Lucas has ragged on 11, when Mike lashes out, Lucas is telling him, don't do this. Like, now is not the time to lash out at one of our friends. Even if Lucas isn't a fan of 11, he's the one that comes to her defense at this point when Mike is being emotional. I found it pretty interesting that is the kind of dichotomy of the characters they've built up. And I also love, before I get to my question for you, I love the parallel of them finding Will's body, with that being intercut with Joyce getting confirmation of, oh my God, there is a monster in my walls. Because it's like, reality should say your kid's dead, he's gone. But in her brain, and she's the only person, which she has been, of like, I am the only person that can confirm there is a monster that is not Will Byers, my son. And also, I'm the only person that is still communicating with my son while the real life police and Hopper are finding my kid. Like, this really sets off Joyce being more adamant and more crazy, leading into her character being so like, no, Hopper, you have to believe me. You've already seen there's something else happening behind the scenes, whether it's big or small. You feel that in your gut. You know something's wrong. I just need you to trust me, which again goes back to what she said to him in episode 2 of like, we have to trust each other here. I don't believe that's my son. I've talked to my son. Trust me one more time.
And we'll get a lot more of that in the next episode too, where they tell her, "Oh, he's gone." She goes, "Nope, that's not him. I was just talking to him. I was just texting him a minute ago.
Not him. Nope.
We were just texting a second ago.
We were chatting. Nope. Not him.
We were.
I do have a question for you though.
Yeah. What's that?
And we can make this quick. 1, how did the lab know about Will? You mentioned it earlier, the radio stuff. That's fine. 2, how did they know what he was wearing when he got taken?
See, again, this is just what is kind of scary about the power of those people at the lab.
Sure.
They're just capable of this is showing us what they're capable of, which feels like anything. I mean, this feels almost like the movie Aliens or something, where you're able to create this like body that is gonna trick everyone into thinking this is a real human body that's dead. Like, it's crazy. So that to me is just proving what they're capable of.
The way I felt was like they're already tapping into the phones. They probably tapped into the cameras. But also, why do they care about Will to like, oh, he's dead? Is it just to get Hopper off of coming into the lab more? Is that all it is?
Yeah, because if he's dead, then they stop looking for him. They stop looking at the lab. They just stop questioning things. Okay. That's all I could think of.
That's all I have for you there.
But yeah, it was a crazy end to the episode. Yes. A lot of cuts back and forth, very emotional. The last thing I would say is like, I was so sad/mad. I remember the first time I watched this because I'm like, there's no way Will is dead. And if he is, I'm going to be so mad, because the last episode is supposed to be them finding him, because this is a kid's show and you find the kids don't die.
Well, and like trying to put myself in the seats of a first time viewer watching it when it came out, of like, there's 5 more episodes.
Yeah, exactly. We're only in episode 3. There's like 5 more.
What else could happen?
yeah. So that's why I was also thinking, like, there's 5 more episodes. He's not dead. They got to go find him still. We're still finding. Yeah.
But it makes you want to watch immediately. Like this season, more than I think maybe the latter 3, is like, you want to binge all of this because it's a mystery. There's the monsters and everything. And you know, it makes you not want to turn the TV off. And unfortunately, it was 10 p.m. and that's my wife's bedtime. So it was like, sorry, honey, gotta go to bed.
yeah, we'll watch it in a week.
yeah.
Cliffhanger, which it did have actually a pretty good cliffhanger and a good end to the episode. I mean, it almost felt like a season-ending episode, but it's just episode 3.
It reminded me of when The Walking Dead would do like half a season and then half the second half, where like there'd be a great opening, nothing in the middle, a great ending to get you to watch the second half, and you're like, oh, I gotta wait 3 months. And you're like, man, that was awesome.
That's true. All right, that's it for this episode. Let's move on to our post game, which is we got to hand out an MVP, which I actually found it a little difficult in this episode because all the characters got kind of shared screen time. It felt like. Did you have any character that stood out to you?
Yeah, you know. Part of me wants to give it to Nancy because her just kind of searching for Barb by herself, feeling alone in the moment, I think is interesting, and everything. Her moments with Steve afterwards. But I kind of also want to give it to Joyce because like there are so many intimate moments with her and Will, albeit Will's not in the room. She's acting by herself a lot in the show, and kind of talking to lights and nothing else. Yeah. And like you do get maybe not so much in this episode, but there's glimpses of she is carrying the episode, of she is chewing up the scenery. This is a Winona Ryder ride or die, if you will, type of season, and it's a reason why her career kind of picked up after this. And I just love Joyce in the episode of this mother that is so desperate to find her kid, and that's how she is through a lot of the show. But she looks disheveled. She looks a mess. Like she's in the thick of it. And then her face when the demo walks out, she's like, I knew something was going on. Now I know something's going on. I'm terrified. Yeah.
All right. Giving it to Joyce.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking of Joyce too. I'm not sure how we haven't had any rules for how we hand out these MVPs. So we haven't made up any rules like, can we each give it to the same person? We haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about wanting to split it. I tend to want to lean towards splitting it. So if you pick one, I'd like to give it to someone else. We don't have to always follow that. But in this one, because it does seem like screen time is shared through a lot of the other characters, I will try to give it to someone else in this one. But going forward, I'm just curious how it's going to play out. But in this one, I was thinking Joyce, but if you give it to Joyce, I was actually thinking of 2 other characters between Mike again and Karen, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know going forward if Karen's even going to have a chance to get an MVP. But I might lean towards Karen just because of the way she's like telling Nancy, "Hey, I'm here for you." She's there for her when Nancy needs a hug later on. She's there for Mike as well when he needs a hug. So maybe we just give it to the moms in this episode, Joyce and Karen.
Shout out to the moms out there.
Yeah, we'll give it to the moms in this one. Which leads us to our next one, which I also found difficult. Our favorite quote from the episode is one we like to do, but I can't think of too many like super popular quotes, but there's just a couple little ones that I can think of. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-parter with Lucas when they're looking for the rocks, man. Those are just funny. The L, I love you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Or this one's the monster killer.
The monster killer.
Those two are great to me.
I had another one. It was Mike when he says, "I got tripped by a mouth breather." So I think it's our first call to the mouth breather, which they they'll make callbacks to mouth breather a bunch of times later on. So I think I'm just gonna go with that one.
Sure, it's a good one too. Yeah.
And then the last one that we came up with in the last episode was the pivotal moment of the episode, or just the singular moment that reminds you of this episode. Like our examples are in Dear Billy of Mike's floating, or Eddie on top of playing his guitar on top of the house. So for this one, I was just gonna nominate pretty obvious, the ABC lights. The Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So this is the episode where Joyce puts up the Christmas lights and does the ABCs.
Yeah, this is what I think a lot of people, I can say for myself in college, when season 2 came out and we watched season 1, it was around Christmas time. What did we do? Turn all the lights off and put the Christmas lights up when you watch the show. This was something everybody was doing when they were watching season 1 or going back and watching it or watching season 2, because it's that iconic. It was for a long time on a lot of the merchandise. Like it carried a lot of the iconography of the show. So yes, this is Joyce and the Christmas lights in the ABC episode.
Yep. And look at this, Sterling. We finished an episode in under 2 hours. Look at us go. Oh my gosh.
Sound the alarms. We have to vamp for 20 minutes to get there.
I thought we were shooting for 2 hours every time.
We did it.
We did it. All right. We've come to an end. Sterling, you're better at taking us out. Please do us the honors.
Yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you can. Leave us a 5-star audio podcast review. We have so much fun watching the episodes, going back and taking a deep dive into them, hopefully alongside with you. Put your comments in, whether it's on YouTube or on the audio podcasting platforms as well. If you're watching the show with us, what are your thoughts so far? What are your takeaways? Who's your MVP? What's your favorite quote from episode 3 of season 1, Holly Jolly? And again, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and Chris, always a pleasure. And I cannot wait to talk with you again on just a piece of ... Stranger Things next week, season 1, chapter 4. Cannot wait.
Thank you, Sterling. Thank you, everybody.
All right. See ya.
Bye.